Very happy rainy Monday to everybody out there in the internet world. My name is Matt. I run Arcane Ritual Miniatures, and this is the first in a series of unboxing, building and painting videos, all focused around the idea of model making and mental health. Things that we do to make sure that we get a little bit of time every day just to relax and just take our minds off any of our worries and just focus on something we're passionate about. Okay. Now, this is one of my personal passion projects. I absolutely love the MaschinenKrieger franchise. It's science fiction, but it's kind of open-ended. It's got a very retro 1980s kind of feel to it. It just sings to me. It absolutely sings to me, guys. So we're going to start off this video just by having a quick look through this box. This is a 2-pack 1/35th scale kit, so you get 2 figures inside it, and they are for the MaschinenKrieger Fireball SG and SG Prowler by Hasegawa Hobby Kits. This box normally runs in the UK for around about £25 to £27, depending on where you get it. I paid about £27 for mine. So it's not massively expensive, but it's not Airfix cheap, if that makes sense. It certainly works out a little bit cheaper than buying the larger kits at 1/20th scale, but there are less features. But that's okay, it doesn't matter, because I bought these because I like them. Okay, so just first of all, let's just take a quick look at the artwork. How gorgeous is that? So this shows 2 suits from, I believe, G Company. It's a reconnaissance company or a search and destroy company. Either way, they're big and spoopy and they've got skulls on them. Ooh, nearly Halloween. It's a good choice. Okay, so looking at the box, one thing I do want to mention really quickly is just how nice this box is. The brown paper on the sides just makes it look like it's a 1980s ration pack or something. You know, you could expect to find this in the back of a Fallout bunker somewhere, you know, put in there by a government official or something, just to keep them busy while they're waiting for the Fallout to drop. Okay, so enough of the weird post-apocalyptic fantasy stuff. Let's see what else is on the box. On this side, if you want to pause it and freeze frame for a moment, you've got a nice bit of history introducing you to the wonderful world of MaschinenKrieger. As we flip the box over, loads and loads of stat blocks up there if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty cool. You've got some colour charts down the bottom there. It shows an interesting colour scheme. Quite like that. And then up here as well, it tells you a little bit more about the actual 2 suits that are in the box. So the first bit's the snake eye. Feel free to pause that and have a look. And the second one is for the fireball. It's also in Japanese. If you fancy brushing up on your kanji, I would suggest using Duolingo instead of reading the back of these boxes, because your vocabulary will be very, very specialised and limited. Okay, what's in the box? Said Brad Pitt. Inside, we've got a gorgeous set of decals. Now, I'm just going to mention I have opened this box up a few times. Nobody's perfect, so you can never do one of these in one shot, I find. And the detail is absolutely gorgeous. Once again, the lighting's a bit off in here. My focus isn't really working, but you can see straight away how nice they are. You've even got the markings there for the skull faces if you want to do those. And actually, if you kind of look at it, these are die cut. And because they've been die cut around all the details, you do have to spend a little bit of time fidgeting with them to get them in the right place. But it does also mean if you don't want the G in the middle of the skull, you can choose any other letter you like, which is very cool. You've also got a nice little snowman down there. There's a penguin. There's a little elephant. And a few other bits and bobs as well. Just little made-up unit markings, really. Very cool. Very smart. Next up, we've got the colour cards. This contains the other 4 colour schemes. So, or technically 2.5, I guess, because this one looks like it's pretty much the same colour scheme over 2 different suits. It's just to give you a good idea of what you can go with. Once again, if you guys are watching this, feel free to freeze frame and screenshot, because we had to use Google AI to translate that as best as possible, and you'll be able to get a really good idea what the franchise is all about, really. On the other side, again, you've got another couple of really, really nice looking colour schemes to choose from. Now, here's the thing. I'm just going to say straight away, I'm probably not going to choose any of these colour schemes for at least one of the suits, because Halloween's coming up. I quite fancy painting a giant floating space pumpkin with a gun. So that's what's going to happen. Joy of joys. Okay, next up. It's a small kit. There are 2 of them in the box. There's not a lot of sprues and runners. And the instructions are actually very concise. And it's all basically squeezed onto 1 page. Now, that means that, you know, if you're looking for like a really, really long 6-month-long build, this probably isn't the kit for that. But if you just want to spend a good fun afternoon building a couple of robot suits with pilots inside, great. Here we go. Nice and easy. There's also a bit of advice in the back there for using things like your decals and how to put those on. Now, water slides are a little bit different to how Gundam stickers work. I'm mentioning Gundam stickers because that's basically the closest thing I can really sort of attune this to. Now, with those, you just pin off, put them on, use a cotton bud, and then just go over it and it's sorted. With these, it's similar. But you do have to soak them in some warm water first just to get them soft enough to come off the backing paper. And then they actually have like a substrate glue on the back, which allows you to just stick them onto the miniature once you've painted it. And then you can kind of seal it with some varnish if you like. Now, onto the fun bit. We're going to look at the sprues. First off, I'm going to tell you straight away that the focus on my camera does not like silver plastic, but that's okay, because actually you can kind of see the detail coming through there. Now, on the top of that torso just there, can you see it? There's a little black line. It kind of looks a little bit like there's a crack in it, but it's not actually a crack. It's just the way that the silver pigment inside the plastic swirled around inside the mould. Once you've got these guys primed up and painted, you will never see those anyway. If you're coming over from more modern Gundam kits to try out a plastic assembly kit like this, I will say that none of the parts on these kits are undergated, and I think there's a really good reason for that. You can undergate kits like this, but what you tend to find happens is if you're not really careful with how you clean up the edges, where these little gates are here, you'll end up with bits that stop the parts from going together properly. Now, when we get into the build video, I'll be able to go over and explain this in a bit more detail, but I can say, in this case, having the little nubs on the side here outside the perimeter of this is going to make it really easy to get a nice, smooth join on the inside. Cool, right, so that's your torso. Now, there are a couple of bits that are slide molded. The rocket boosters here are slide molded, which is something that I would love to see them do on the bigger kits, but, you know, I'll take it where I've got it, and that's really good for me. All right, and finally, you have your second sprue. And this basically gives you the options of either having two grabbing hands or having one hand as a laser cannon. That's pretty cool. The legs are kind of monopose, but there is a little ball joint at the top here. So once you've got the model together, you will be able to move it around and pose it a little bit. It's nothing you can't fix with a little bit of modelling putty. So I would suggest, you know, thinking about that as well. These aren't going to be poseable like their bigger brothers and sisters. They're just going to basically be static kits. But I am going to have a go at posing them in different ways and just see what I can come up with. I kind of like the idea of having two of them floating around in space near a satellite. So that might be a thing that we get to see later on. And once again, I did say it's a two-piece kit. So you do have your second one here. It's exactly the same sprues and runners. You can assemble them however you like. How cool is that? Okay, so that is basically everything you get inside this box. And honestly, 20 so quid, yeah, it's a little bit high, maybe, if you think about it. However, I will say, can you really put a price on being able to just sit down for a couple of afternoons and just zone out and just make something cool? All right, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. I just want to show a bit of thanks to some people who've inspired me for this video. Number one is Shane over at japancool.uk. I bought this kit. He's an awesome guy. We might be doing a bit of collaboration in the future as well to do with mental health and modelling. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Finally, I just want to say, if ever you guys are feeling like you're a bit low, if you feel like you haven't actually achieved anything in a day, just stop worrying. Just get yourselves online, check out some of the builds that other people are doing, see what I'm up to. If you fancy a chat, you can always get hold of me and stuff on YouTube comments. In fact, if you want to leave a comment down below and let me know what you're working on, that would be absolutely fantastic. I love hearing from people and seeing what they're doing. If you've got any questions, feel free to just let me know in the comments section. That would be absolutely great. Finally, I just want to say, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and consider leaving me a little bit of a tip by subscribing to my Patreon channel. Later this week, I'll be setting that up with a bit of extra content if you do decide to subscribe. It's not going to be exorbitantly expensive, but, you know, every little helps. It does help me keep going. Yeah, see you in the next video.